Good morning, students. So this is our chapter 2, biological classification, unit 1, and today we'll study about kingdom fungi and its various classes: Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes, on the basis of fruiting bodies and mode of spore formation and morphology of mycelium. The kingdom fungi constitute unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. Heterotrophic organisms means which cannot make their own food material. They are dependent on dead and decaying organisms. So they show great diversity in morphology and habitat. When your bread develops a mold or your orange rots, it is because of fungus. The common mushroom you eat and toadstools are also fungi. White spots seen on the mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungus. Just like you are using yeast to make bread and beer, etc. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is the scientific name of this yeast. That is also a form of unicellular fungus. So other fungus cause diseases in plants, animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. Just like some of other sources of antibiotics like penicillium, fungi are cosmopolitan, means they are present everywhere. And most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrate. Hence, they are called saprophytes. Those that depend on living plants and animals are called parasites, and they can also be living as symbiotic association with algae, and then they are called lichens, you all know, and if they are present with the roots of higher plants, then they are called mycorrhizae. We will learn about the mycorrhizae later. That pinus seeds, some gymnosperms cannot set even seeds without the presence of fungus in them. So this is all a brief description about kingdom fungi, and now we'll study the various classes of this kingdom fungi on the basis of, as I have told you earlier, on the basis of spore formation, fruiting bodies, and they are divided into 4 classes. In this slide, you can see various examples of fungus. Just you can see toadstools, rhizopus, unicellular yeast, and agaricus, mushroom, and all these examples are here. You can see in the picture where zygomycetes is written, the spores are formed exogenously, that they are outside the mycelium. They are present outside the mycelium, then it's called exogenously formed. Multicellular fungi consist of long, slender filaments called hyphae. Some hyphae are continuous, others are divided by septa. A mass of connected hyphae is called a mycelium. It grows through and digests its substance. So you can see in this slide, when a fungus reproduces asexually, 2 haploid hyphae of compatible mating type come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of 2 haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells. However, in other fungi, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage, that is N plus N, 2 nuclei per cell occurs. Such a condition is called dikaryon. And later the parental nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to formation of haploid spores. These are 4 different classes of kingdom fungi. First is Phycomycetes, then Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Members of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitats and on decaying wood in moist and damp places, or as obligate parasites on plants. Obligates means pakke. This mycelium is aseptate and cenocytic. Cenocytic means when the number of nuclei are many. सेप्टा प्रेजेंट नहीं है, तो अगर कॉन्टिन्यूस माइसीलियम है तो उसमें न्यूक्लियस भी बहुत सारे होंगे, देन द कंडीशन विल बिकम सिनोसाइटिक. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores. Zoospores are motile, and by aplanospores they are non-motile. These spores are endogenously produced in sporangium. What do you mean by endogenously? Inside the sporangium, अंदर बनते हैं उसके. And a zygospore is formed by fusion of two gametes. These gametes are similar in morphology. If they are similar in morphology, then they are called isogamous, and if they are dissimilar, then they are called anisogamous or oogamous. Some common examples are mucor, rhizopus, जो bread के ऊपर mold लग जाती है, that is rhizopus, and albugo, the parasite fungi on mustard. The members of Ascomycetes are commonly known as sac fungi, and they are mostly multicellular. Example is Penicillium, or they are rarely unicellular are also present. For example, yeast. Yeast is called baker's or brewer's yeast, that is used in baking or in brewery, and the scientific name is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic, or coprophilous. Coprophilous means growing on dung, etc. So mycelium is branched and septate. Asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously on the special mycelium called conidiophores. So you can see in the diagram, penicillium का diagram है इसमें, and spores are formed outside the sporangium. So these are called exogenously. Conidia on germination produce mycelium. Sexual spores are called ascospores, which are produced endogenously. Means it has two types of spores. Some are formed exogenously in penicillium, and ascospores are formed endogenously. Now you understand what is exogenously and what is endogenously. In sac-like asci, these asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies called ascocarps. Some examples are asparagus and claviceps and neurospora. Neurospora is commonly used in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morels and buffels are edible and are considered as delicacies. So third class is Basidiomycetes. Commonly known forms of Basidiomycetes are mushroom, bracket fungi or puffballs. They grow in soil, on logs, tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites, that is rust and smuts. The mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic. Dikaryotic, you understand, when two nuclei don't fuse together, n plus n, two nuclei are present, which ultimately gives rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in the basidium, producing 4 basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously. Now need not to tell exogenously. Exogenously means spores are formed outside the basidium. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies, which are called basidiocarps. The common example, you can see agaricus, mushroom जो हम खाते हैं, and Puccinia, that is rust. कई लीव्स पे रस्ट लग जाती है, पक्सीनिया ऑफ टोबैको एटसेट्रा. So this is commonly called as imperfect fungi because only the asexual vegetative forms of these fungi are known. When the sexual forms of these fungi were discovered, they are moved to some other classes they rightly belong to. It's not also possible that asexual and vegetative state have been given one name. First of all, they are placed under Deuteromycetes, and sexual stage जब उनकी मिलती है तो उसको हम किसी और क्लास में रख देते हैं. Later, when linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of the Deuteromycetes. So once perfect stages of members of Deuteromycetes were discovered, they were often moved to Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes or like this. The Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, and these are known as conidia. Now you all remember conidia are exogenously forming spores. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes or parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral cycling. Examples are Alternaria, and trichoderma. In this slide, you can see fungal infection on strawberry and fungal infection on fish. And a ringworm is a disease which is caused by trichophyton on the human beings, just like on the groin area or in the neck region.